I would say good morning, beloveds, but it's almost 10 o'clock at night. I said I would figure out how to do this live stream, and no. So, normally, opening weekend at the Renaissance Festival is kind of quiet, and it wasn't. It wasn't. We got hit hard, we got hit early, and it was good. It was good. Because I know the booth that I work for, she didn't have any shows last year. I mean, she made some sales on the Etsy, but she didn't have any shows last year. And so I'm hoping that the rest of the season goes as well as today did, and that they have a good day tomorrow. But I didn't miss fair last year, and I wasn't excited about it this year, but it was good. It was good. So on Saturdays, I don't know when this will get done for the next 7 weekends. I will be regularly 9 a.m. the rest of the week, but on Saturdays, you might get it at 10 o'clock at night. You might get it at 10 o'clock at night. All right. But it is October 9th. And our title is the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart, and the activities of my hands are acceptable to infinite mind. And our quote is that ye put on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness. Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one another. And that is Ephesians 4 and 24 and 25. All right, so let's see what Ernest has to say. The inner life of man in his most priceless possession. No, the inner life of man is his most priceless possession. In the center of our beings, we decide whether we shall be worthy of the divine life with which we have been endowed by the creative mind of the universe. When the inner life is creative, orderly, and growing, then our outer activities are fine and true. We know the law of mind, and to be the sincere creative people we hope to be, we have to be truly consecrated within. We are equipped to speak the kindly word, to pray for others in the depths of our hearts, and to do those things in the world which are constructive. The equipment we have, but the impulse must arise within us to use it rightly. God seeks through each of us to express all that mind is, all that love is. I believe that I was created by a perfect intelligence to be its means of expressing thought and feeling. I, therefore, dedicate myself this day to the original purpose of my being. I cleanse my mind of all that is unworthy of a spiritual being. I dedicate and consecrate the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart, and the activity of my hands to the Almighty God. Nothing shall cause me to be unkind, unloving, or mean. I believe that God indwells me as mine, and this eternal spirit is now blessing the world by means of me. I know that all my inner capacities are now quickened for good. I am strong in my determination to speak the truth, love my fellow man, and act as the Son of God. Okay, I'm sorry, I was distracted for a moment by one of my cats. All right. So, I therefore dedicate myself this day to the original purpose of my being. What is the original purpose of our being? That would be the question. Because you hear things like that and you go, what is the original purpose of my being? What is the purpose of your being? The purpose of our being, the purpose of us being here, is to have experiences. And so further on he says, I cleanse my mind of all that is unworthy. Because we have those thoughts. We bump up against people, we rub up against people, we rub each other wrong, and we have those thoughts that we stop and we go, oh, that wasn't very spiritual. Well, that's okay. That's okay, because you recognize it. And so then you say, okay, well, I'm going to cleanse my mind of that, and I'm going to rededicate myself, reconsecrate myself. And we can continue to do that until we don't need to do it anymore. So, but that is what spiritual practice is about. That is what spiritual practice is about. It's about grounding ourselves, centering ourselves, realizing what our purpose is. And our purpose is to be. We are human beings, not human doings. So our purpose is to be. Our purpose is to go out and be creative and to be joyful and to be happy and to be peaceful and to make the world good, to make the world beautiful, to make the world amazing, just by participating. Like, we don't have to have grand purposes, but we want to go and participate in life. I went to the Renaissance Festival today. Like I said, I wasn't excited to be there. But once I was there, like, I was in. And I was participating and I was having a grand time. And at one point, I said something kind of off the cuff to these, they were probably in their early 20s. And immediately they all went, wait, I know what you're talking about. And so then we had, like, a 15-minute conversation about geekery and an author that I happen to love, which they were like, oh. And I was like, no, this movie's okay. And that's what we do. That's what we do. We go out and we interact with each other and we have a good time and we learn from each other. That's what our purpose is. You can go back to the Bible quote, the meek shall inherit the earth. Well, meek means teachable. So if we are out there learning from each other and we are out there creating experiences with each other, then we're doing it right. That's what our purpose is. That's what our purpose is. All right. So the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart, and the activities of my hands are acceptable to the infinite mind. Because we're doing them within the qualities of God. That joyful, peaceful, creative, harmony. When we're doing that, we can do no wrong. We can do no wrong. I don't always know what to do with the Bible quotes. And Ephesians is not one. I was just like, I will talk all day about Isaiah and Ezekiel because they're just fascinating. But Ephesians, yeah. And that ye put on the new man, which after God is created in righteousness. So right there, Ephesians is telling you that we are created in righteousness. We are created in holiness. We are that divine spark. Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man the truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am my brother's keeper, because I am also my brother. Which is cool, because I love my brother. So, all right, like I said, that's Ephesians 4:24 and 25. With Bible quotes, sometimes Reverend Norm would tell you the best thing to do with a Bible quote is to go and read it in context. Read a couple of lines before and a couple of lines after to see what it is. Because when we take things out of context, we can royally screw them up. Yeah. All right, so the inner life of humanity is humanity's most priceless possession. So your inner life is your most priceless possession because your inner life is that divine spark. Your inner life is God. Okay? It is spirit. It is the quantum field. It is Atman, whatever word you want to use. That is why it's our most prized possession. Because it is where we go to meet the holy, to meet the unfiltered God. Or as Jesse likes to call it, the place where nothing has ever been wrong. That's our most prized possession. And we tend to put it here. We tend to put it in our heart space. But it can be here or anywhere. In the center of our beings, we decide whether we shall be worthy of the divine life with which we have been endowed by the creative mind of the universe. All right? So the divine life that we have been endowed, We decide whether or not we're worthy. God doesn't, because God knows that we are worthy, because God endowed us with that life. All right? God knows that we're worthy. We make the decision on whether or not we think we are. All right? God knows we are. When the inner life is creative, orderly, and growing, and see that orderly? It's like my inner life is creative and it is growing. Is it always orderly? No. I'm a little bit chaotic. I'm actually a lot chaotic. But we're talking about my inner life, not my outer life right now. And generally, when I'm working in that way, I am orderly. I can order my spiritual thoughts much faster and better than I do anything else, because I practice every single day. I ended up having an amazing conversation with one of the guys that worked in the booth with us today, and he was just like, I know you're a reverend, and I'm really glad we had this conversation, because I was curious, because I'm still me. The REV didn't change me. It just kind of made me more of me. And that's what I say. So, when the inner life is creative, orderly, and growing, then our outer activities are fine and true. Because if our inner life is orderly, we know who we are. We know who we are. And who are we? Beloved children of God. Absolutely, that's who we are. We know that we know the law of mind. That's what we teach in Science of Mind. We know the law of mind. We know that we want to be in alignment with that mind and speak our word, and then our word cannot return to us void. Yes, Gabby. And to be the sincere, creative people we hope to be, we have to be truly consecrated within. And that means regular spiritual practice. That means daily spiritual practice. All right? Be it short or long, practice makes permanent. Daily. Daily. Set aside that time. It was like Jesse said it, 1/7. 1/7. If you set aside 1/7 of your day. Do your spiritual practice. We are equipped to speak the kindly word, to pray for each other with the depths of our heart, in the depths of our heart, and to do those things in the world which are constructive. We are equipped. All right? I like that. We are equipped. We are equipped to speak the kindly word, to pray for others in the depths of our hearts, and to do those things in the world which are constructive. That is what we do. The equipment we have. We came pre-installed with that software. But the impulse must arise within us to use it rightly. We got to go back to that divine spark. God seeks through each of us to express all that mind is, all that love is. That is our purpose. To express God, to express spirit, to express life, to express love. That is our purpose. So, now the second paragraph, these are excellent words for power statements, for treatments, for things like that. That first line, I believe that I was created by a perfect intelligence to be its means of expressing thoughts and feelings. Do you know who you are after you've said that? I, therefore, dedicate myself this day to the original purpose of my being. Which is, again, expressing thought and feeling of the perfect intelligence. I cleanse my mind of all that is unworthy of a spiritual being. So it acknowledges that we have them. But when we do our regular spiritual practice, that's what we're doing. We're cleansing our mind. And the more cleansing we do, the less likely we are to have to keep doing it to the level that we do it some days. So I dedicate and consecrate the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart, and the activity of my hands to the Almighty God. I consecrate the words of my mouth. I am conscious of what is coming out of my mouth. And I am conscious of the meditations within my heart. I am thoughtfully directing those meditations. And that meditation in my heart and that consciousness in my mind will always direct the activities of my hands truly. Because I am open to spirit. Nothing shall cause me to be unkind, unloving, or mean. And really, honestly, it's always a choice. It is always a choice. And that is one of the reasons why every day I encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. Because you are creating that bank of that loving, kind compassion, but you are also making a permanent habit. So that when you bump up into a situation that could cause you to react in an unkind way, you have this bank and this permanent habit of responding kindly. And you also know, because you have this bank, that if you cannot respond kindly, then the kindly thing you can do is not respond at all and to turn around and go the other way. Because there are going to be times that there is nothing we can do in a situation that will be kind. It is going to happen. And we are not going to beat ourselves up about it. What we are going to do is take ourselves out of the situation. So if you find yourself in a situation where you do not feel like you can be kind, do not beat yourself up about that. Take yourself out of the situation. Okay? If you can, and that's just the way it is. I mean, it happens, and that is the most kindly thing that we can do. All right. So nothing shall cause me to be unkind, unloving, or mean. I believe that God indwells me as mind, and this eternal spirit is now blessing the world by means of me. My presence here is a blessing. Your presence here is a blessing. And you have no idea the people that you have blessed in your life. There are people who remember a kindly smile from you that you don't even remember smiling at. You are a blessing to this world. I know that in all my inner capacities are now quickened for good. I am strong in my determination to speak the truth, love my fellow human, and act as the child of God. So right there was the mission. I know it's kind of weird to have a mission for the day at the end of the day, but it's only 7 more weeks, right? The mission today, should we choose to accept it, and it's the same mission that we always have. To speak the truth, to love our fellow humans, to love our fellow beings. If they walk on 2 legs, if they walk on 4 legs, if they walk on no legs. Or several, more than 4. To love our living things all around us. To love our world. And to act as the children of God that we are. To act as the children of God we are. And that is always the mission. Always the mission. All right. All the other things that I would normally say, which is engage your mind and your body, go get a face full of sun. It's too late at night for that. So what I'm going to tell you, as I have always, do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. At this late, it might be a good night of sleep, because that's what I'm about to go get. And we need that. It can also be a cup of tea, a glass of water, or check in on a friend. Although my phone would go into silent at this point, so. All right, beloveds. I do encourage you to have sweet dreams, to get a good night's sleep, to take care of yourself. You deserve your own love, your own kindness, your own compassion. And it is the way of doing it every day that builds that permanent habit that I was talking about, to build that bank so that you have it to share. I do encourage you, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven now, right here. All it asks of you is to look around, to look for the good. Because when you look for the good, you find the good. When you find the good naturally multiplies. And that's how we make that amazing world that we all want to live in. Okay. I will be back on at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And then we will have an amazing service for you at 11. Jesse's still working on the high mysticism, so feel free to check us out on the social medias as well. And have a good night. All right, beloveds. So I will see you next time. Know that you're loved.